Welcome back to some more Umineko when they cry. So, last two parts, unfortunately, the audio got pretty quiet. Honestly, I don't know why that happened. To be quite honest, either I blame Discord for fucking up the mic audio, or maybe I didn't really did a mic test next time. So there's that. I think I even turned down the desktop audio a bit for OBS. So, well, last time where we last left off, Angie was requested a favor in being an assistant to read the the sixth story or whatever you call it. The read out the tale for her in order to cure her, her severe illness, which is called boredom of the such. And I'd say it's pretty amusing in a way for Featherine. So it's not Hachijo. Hachijo is more of a the well, another Elias to for her to take part. So other than that, nothing special, especially with the last two parts because it's just a little bit of a slow build up. So we are now on the second chapter. So hopefully you guys can hear me right now. So note to self, do a mic test before recording. At one time, only Beato and her fellow witches had gathered in the smoking room to chat. Now, however, an unusually large number of people were present. Oh, it's Lambda. Why am I not surprised?
バトラは一体どういうゲームを見せてくれるのかしらね。
それが退屈を忘れさせ、壊しがいあるものなら何でも歓迎よ。
お任せください、我が主。必ずや主の望まれる結果となるよう最善を尽くします。
ええ、そうしてね。前回のゲームではおかしな表情ばかり見せちゃったから、頬が歪んで変なシワにならないか不安だわ。
そんなことはありません。どんなおシワができようとも我が主の美貌は完璧です。
Oh wow. We're not even we're not even close to the end of the sixth episode yet, and Burncast are looking mad. Wait, why are these two making faces though?
ベルンがこんなにも楽しそうなんてね。本当にベアトのゲーム版は素晴らしいわ。そのゲーム版の主がもはや不在なのは悲しいことです。虎は死んで川を残す。ベアトも死んでゲームを残したわ。
チェスは残ってもその作者の名は残ってないわね。
No one knows the name of the person who invented it? Really? What if I do something stupid? It's like, and type it out on Google. It said on the first result, most, though not all, historians think the game of chess originated in India. And then they said, well, okay, is that... Okay, that's probably a wrong. Yeah, that's wrong though. What the hell? I thought it said so that's kind of the weird part when it comes to whenever I look up the question on Google. It's either originated in India or they're one of them invented chess in 200 BC by a Chinese commander. So actually no, really, what the hell? One of the articles say that chess came from India and Persia and China. So that's really why. Okay, so I'm not being retarded whenever I look up history stuff or history trivia.
本当だゲームの作者って不憫ね
Poor game inventors. Wow.
それにしてもバトラさんはずいぶん待たせるじゃないですか。第6のゲームの準備まだ終わらないんですか？
ガートルード、バトラ教の準備はいかがです？
近景謹んで申し上げる。もうじきのことと知りたまえと奉る者なり。
Very soon, huh?
待たせるってことはそれだけ自信作なんでしょうよ。前回我が主の前であれだけの恥をかかされたんです。是が非でも打ち破ってみせます。特にあんた二度と無様を見せないでくださいよ。奮起して臨むものなりや。
The previous game master, Lambda Delta, had confirmed that Balor understood everything about Beato's game. However, in order to prove it, Balor would have to run this game by himself and carry it through to completion. In other words, if Erica could crush this game of Balor's, she would, in effect, wipe away the dishonor of that last game. Though Erica was chomping at the bit to get started, it was taking Balor quite some time to show himself. At that time, a swarm of gold butterflies popped into existence and took human form. From the shape of that familiar dress, everyone immediately realized who it was.
おや、ベアトリーチェさんじゃないですか。
What?
てっきり前回死んで消えたとばかり。
Now I really have some questionable stuff. So, part 1 and 2 that I had recorded up, even though the mic audio is not really good because it was stupid on my end, but now there's Beato. How did they... Wait, I thought she disappeared off. And then Balor has to fulfill her legacy. Why did she had to appear? Unless this is the, unless she was revived and is now a game piece under Balor.
消えたのはプレイヤーのベアトよ。
Was the player.
こいつは駒でしょ、バトラの。
駒ではあってもご本人と変わりありません。
Beato gave an elegant courtesy as she appeared. This humble entrance was so vastly different from her usual high-pitched laugh that it made the long-awaited start of the 6th game feel even more ominous than it otherwise would have.
お父様はもうじきお越しになられます。どうかもうしばらくのお時間をお許しください。
What? I'm confused. Wow, this version of Beato is a different voice. Like, I know Sayaka Ohara, the VA, did the Beato, but is this still the same VA? Lambda has no words.
お父様何それ れが今回の思考？
Not only had Beato started talking in an unusually polite manner, she had also used the word father, presumably referring to Badler. For an instant, everyone was stunned into silence, but they quickly realized that this was setting up some kind of theme, and they grinned. Beato wasn't the type who could keep up this kind of act for long. It would probably fall apart in a few seconds, leaving her cackling rudely at everyone. Erica, who was itching for a fight, went for Beato almost at once.
まさか無能のバトラさんがあなたのゲームの真相に至るなんてね。お父様なればこそ深淵を理解されたのでしょう。さすがだと思います。
You know, this convo feels so awkward. No words.
しかしあんたもラッキーです。バトラがゲームマスターになれなかったら二度と復活できなかったんですよ。まったく悪運が強いと言いますか。
The luck of the devil.
悪運？
The luck of the devil? What do you mean by that?
まあいずれにせよ前回の借りはきっちり返させてもらいますので。
あんたというバトラの妄想幻想きっちり消し去って忘却の深淵に叩き落としてやりますから。
Wow.
私もみすみすやられるわけには参りません。お手柔らかによろしくお願いいたします。
Watashi. Erica's like, what the hell? By this point, everyone realized that something weird was going on. There was no doubt that the face, the dress, and the hair were all Beato Ricci's. However, her expression was different. Even though she had Beato's face, Beato would never show anyone an expression like that.
誰よ、あんた。
That's what I was gonna ask. There was a heavy silence. Lambda Delta spoke for everyone there. At first, Beato had worn a smiling yet blank expression. However, when she realized that the mood had gone suddenly stiff, her expression finally darkened and she hung her head.
あんた、誰です？
You know, that's the funny part. Erica was trying to push her buttons, and then all of a sudden, like, it didn't work.
ベアトリーチェ教とお見受けしていますが、違うのですか？
Even Dalinor was forced to ask, despite the rudeness of the question. That was how much this woman who appeared to be Beato was not.
皆さんの期待されるベアトリーチェとは違うでしょうか？あんた何言ってんの？まさかとは思いますが、記憶喪失とかなんとか言い出すんじゃないでしょうね。私はまだ生まれたばかりですので、記憶は何もありません。
Wait, hang on. Is this the current version of Beato Ricci where yeah, I think it was like episode 3 of Umineko, where this is the current version of Beato Ricci where she was held captive at the Kuadorian mansion. And so she's I don't know what the hell happened there, but she's apparently they were trying to revive whoever character. I'm pretty sure it's Badler's, you know, responsibility. I'm pretty sure it's part of Battler where he was trying to like revive back Beato as a game piece of the such, but it's not that. It's not the one that did the snarky cackling version. It's the one from episode 3. That's what I can. That's that's what I can assume. But if not, then yeah. I was only born recently, so I have no memories at all.
ですが皆さんの期待されるベアトリーチェになれるよういろいろと勉強を。
ベアト、部屋にいるように言ったはずだ。
Battler's voice came out of nowhere. His tone was very slightly cold. Beato's expression looked like that of a young girl being scolded. Battler just came in and was like, Beato, Beato, you idiot. I thought I told you not to run off on your own. With a swirl of gold butterflies, Battler appeared. His dignified bearing and appearance were fitting for the ruler of this game. However, his expression was gloomy, and his gaze was directed at Beato.
部屋に戻れ。ここはお前のいる場所でない。
Yeah, we got the pretty serious Battler right here.
私は少しでもお父様のお役に立ちたくて。
部屋へ戻れ。
He spoke both softly and forcefully. Battler didn't leave her any room for debate. Beato hung her head and curtsied as she prepared to leave the room.
それから。
はい、お父様。
俺の名はバトラだ。二度と他の呼び方をするな。
はい。
So when she said father, it refers to Battler, but it sounds really weird though. But I guess according from like episode 3 of that Beatorici, she sounded like very more childlike and such. So can't really fault her, considering she was already revived to begin with. Beato melted into a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared. This was the first part of the tale with Battler as the game master. The witches had all assumed that he'd come forward with some flashy, big developments, so this was all completely unexpected to them. Their mouths were still hanging open.
変わった趣向ね。
失礼した。今のは忘れてほしい。
That was pretty awkward.
うまいこと言って。それも作戦のうちですか？また北風対応作戦みたいに印象操作して何かを煙に巻こうって魂胆でしょう。
I'm pretty sure he's cooking up something, but it's still at an early stage at the moment.
何かあったのですか？
気にするな。お前たちには関係のないことだ。
そう。なら関係ないってことだわ。さあバトラ、早く新しいゲームを始めてちょうだい。もう待たされすぎちゃって退屈してたんだから。
Isn't one awkward moment like already entertaining you enough? Like,
ああ。
this is all of a sudden it's already boring. Like, come on, man.
第6のゲームを始めよう。エリカ、そしてベルンカステル。これが俺の物語であり、俺がベアトの真相に至ったことの証明だ。ラムダデルタ、それを仙台ゲームマスターとして見届けてくれ。
楽しみにしてるわ。タイトルは？
Yeah, what is the title?
ドン。
Dawn.
黄金の魔女の夜明けだ。
The Dawn of the Golden Witch.
すぐに沈む冬の太陽だけれどね。もちろんです、我が主。すぐに引きずり下ろしてご覧に入れます。タイトルだけはグッドです。そこだけは褒めましょう、バトラさん。
気に入ってもらえてよかった。では始めよう。これより第6のゲームを開始する。
Battler solemnly announced the start of the game. Compared to his fired up attitude at the end of the previous game, where he and Erica had sworn to settle everything next time, he was extremely quiet now.
エンジェ、ベアトの様子があまりにこれまでと違うな。
That makes me really question it as not only Angie as the reader, but me being the reader too.
私も驚いてるわ。何が何だかさっぱりよ。それ以前になんでベアトが蘇ってるのかさっぱりだわ。さっき読ませてもらったけど、前回の物語の最後でお兄ちゃんが真相にたどり着く直前に死んで消え去ったんじゃなかったの？
Yeah, she reached her limit, and before Balor even reached the truth.
この世界での死は2つある。一つは駒としてゲーム版より取り除かれること。これはゲームにおける死でしかなく、仕切り直せば何度でも蘇る命だ。
だから魔女たちはその命を奪うことにあまりに無慈悲なわけよね。
To the Witch players, the lives of those characters who appear on the game board are no different from pieces on a chessboard that take other pieces and get taken. After all, these pieces will be set up again when the next game starts.
マリアにおける作太郎がその駒の最たるものであっただろう。
作太郎がお姉ちゃんの駒？
Yes, that makes sense. In the game board that represents the inside of One-chan's head, Sakutaro certainly does exist, and is a piece that always stays by her side. Though he's nothing more than a stuffed animal in the real world, on One-chan's game board he's no less of a piece than any other. So what you're saying is reviving is more of like you're just making like, a fictional minion of itself or something. I don't know. Piece than any other.
でもどうかしら。魔女のゲームの駒なら簡単に生き返らせることができるんでしょ？でもお姉ちゃんの世界では作太郎は蘇ることができなかった。
世界でたった一つのぬいぐるみというよりしろが失われたからだ。だから駒の存在条件が崩れ、マリアのゲーム版では復活することができなかった。そなたがその存在条件を再び満たしてやったからこそ、作太郎はゲーム版に蘇ることができたのではないか。
Is that so?
確かに。
True. Maria One-chan was only unable to revive him because she had lost the stuffed animal that was his vessel. If, like the rest of my family on Beata's game board, she hadn't needed a vessel for her quote-unquote, she would have been able to revive him as often as she wanted.
そうね。確かに作太郎はお姉ちゃんの駒かもしれないわ。少なくともよりしろが無事である限り何度でも蘇れる存在だわ。
そう。よりしろが無事である限り何度でも蘇ることができる。 それが駒の命というものだ。
As long as the vessel's contained and safe.
それがこの世界での死における一つ目。もう一つはゲーム版の外の存在の死だ。作太郎の話で続けるなら、この場合はマリアの死だ。駒じゃなく、
You mean not her death as a piece?
本当のお姉ちゃんの死ね。死だけではない。興味や関心の喪失でも同じだ。マリアがぬいぐるみ遊びを卒業すれば、ゲームのプレイヤーとしてのマリアは死ぬ。
When Maria outgrows playing with stuffed animals, the game player Maria will also die.
さながらテレビに飽きてスイッチを切るかのように、簡単にあっさりと。
Does this sound like an izakaya reference? If I get bored of a video game or a MMO, then then the game player itself. If a game player gets bored of playing an MMO game, then the player itself will die. I don't know. Actually, I don't think that's how it goes, but yeah.
なるほど。つまりプレイヤーとしてのベアトは前回までのゲームで勝利を完全に諦めたので、死んで消え去ったわけね。ならつまりベアトが再びお兄ちゃんに勝てるつもりになって戻ってきたら生き返るってことだわ。理屈ではそうだ。人も魔女も神さえも興味と関心を失えばいつでも死ねる。そしてそれを取り戻せばいつでもよみがえれる。しかし神の世界には時間の概念がないから、いつよみがえるも自在だが、矢のごとく時が過ぎ去る人の世ではそれは容易ではないな。そうね。一日のずる休みならともかく、3日もサボると学校に行くのがものすごく億劫になるわ。
That's an interesting metaphor. I think that's how it feels when you take a lot of days off from work. Right here. Makes sense, yeah.
それが1ヶ月、1年、10年。それこそ魔女の世界のように1000年にも及んだら。
Holy fuck, that's actually really long, though.
なるほど。ずる休みもそれだけになればもはや社会における死ね。それだけの長い間死んでいたら、社会的な遅れを取り戻せないだけじゃなく、当時のモチベーションだって絶対に蘇らないわ。それはつまり命があっても一度死んだのと同じことだわ。二度と元の自分には戻れない、蘇れない。ベアとは勝てる道理も希望も全て失った。それを知りつつ気づかぬふりをし、あれだけのゲームを戦ってきたのだ。
Kept on fighting for many, many games.
だからもうベアとは戻らない。彼女の希望はついえた。気を取り直して再び戦う気力のすべてをもう費やしている。だからあのベアトリーチが蘇ることは二度とない。
That Beato will Oh, man. The loss of hope for Beatrice. But is there hmm. But is there even a solution for that though? Like, would it the Game Master Battler would actually win? Would this mean that there's actually such sliver chance that Beatrice will get revived? Hmm. That Beato, who just sat around the whole time with empty eyes in the fifth game, must have been her corpse. She managed to remain on the game board despite it all, but then even that corpse was wiped away. If Beato had been the game master at that time instead of Lambda Delta, the game board itself would have vanished at that moment and everything would have ended. Come to think of it, Beato started to lose the will to fight back near the end of the fourth game. When Beato loses her will to fight, the world of this game disappears. However, the witches wanted to keep playing in this game board world, so Lambda Delta found Beato in place with that cursed shackle. She used that shackle to fix the game board in place and prevent it from disappearing, even if Beato did lose the will to fight. In chess, this would be the equivalent of removing the set time limit for each turn, making it endless. However, simply having the game endlessly paused on Beato's turn would cause the witches to die from their illness of boredom. That's why Lambda Delta took the position of Game Master. Starting then, Beato's existence was no longer one of the conditions necessary for the game's existence. That's probably why the shackles binding her to the game board were released. And that explains why she disappeared in the fifth game.
お兄ちゃんはベアトに真相にたどり着いたことを教えるには一つゲームが遅かったということね。
Yeah, that is the very unfortunate notion of it.
第5のゲームなどラムダデルタの慈悲だ。バトラの絶対に真相にたどり着きたいという信念に絶対の魔女が慈悲を示しただけのこと。
何が慈悲よ。
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
た
ask.
だの魔女たちの暇つぶしの気まぐれじゃない。話を戻すわ。じゃあ、あのおかしなベアトはプレイヤーのベアトじゃないってことになる。駒のベアトということだわ。
そうだ。だったら誰もがよく知るベアトになるはず。バトラもそういうベアトを望んだはず。
ぬいぐるみじゃ嫌だったってこと？
Seems like it. When playing with dolls, one can project the personality they most desire into the doll. However, since you are acting out their part, nothing unexpected can ever happen. You cannot hope for any unanticipated happiness. In the human world, there is nothing so boring as a pre-established harmony. That's why, though a doll can become a person's best friend in the world, people eventually get bored and outgrow them. Oni-chan only wants the real Beato. He couldn't bear having a doll that only acted like Beato.
バトラの駒として生み出されたベアトはバトラの望む通りに動くだろう。
駒なんだから当然だわ。プレイヤーの指す通りに動く。そしてそれ以外では一切動かない。お兄ちゃんが何を望んでるのかはわかるわ。じゃあこのおかしなベアトは何者なの？
That Again, that's. I'm surprised he didn't ask from. Well, that was the question that I thought she was gonna ask from the start, but I guess it's the question of how Beato was alive to begin with. But no, it's that Beato is a game piece.
バトラはベアトを本当の意味で蘇らそうとしているのかもしれない。人の子らの諦めきれぬ夢だ。
あんたはさっき赤を使ってそれはないと否定したわ。
あのベアトが蘇ることは決してない。しかしもう一度ベアトを生み出すことは不可能ではないということだ。
True.
忘れたか？第一のゲームの最後でベルンカステル自らがベアトの正体を語ったはず。
思い出したわ。ルールが具現化した存在みたいなこと言ってた。
As the incarnation of a rule.
そのルールと情報が練り上げられ、最終的にあのベアトリーチェという魔女が形作られたのだ。それを再びなぞれば同じベアトリーチェをもう一度生み出し、それをもって復活と呼ぶこともできよ
つまりあのおかしなベアトはさながらベアトの卵あるいはヒナってところね。
う。そう解釈するのが妥当であろう。
That's what I was thinking.
すなわちこのベアトこそがあのベアトへ至るヒナなのだ。
So, what is the nickname we would give to her? Chick Beato?
それはつまりこの純情可憐な子がやがてはあのひねくれてイカれた魔女に成長するってことね。
That that twisted face. That's the crazy part about it. I love it how it progresses from a Beato, a pure girl, into the wicked witch. It's kind of a wild evolvement, in all honesty. In other words, that Beato is a baby version of the Beato we all know. What we call a baby Beato. So just like how no person is born evil, the newborn Beato isn't evil either. Even though she really is a different person, if you measure her by her root, or perhaps her soul, then maybe you can call this a resurrection. However, this reality can't possibly be easy to accept. Though she may technically be Beato herself, she is also without a doubt a different person. And that way she acts would make anyone feel as though something's out of place.
退屈しない。そなたの朗読は楽しい。
あんたに朗読が必要なのか疑わしいわ。あんたはもうすでに全てを知っているように見える。
そなたと対話をしているからその思考に至るだけだ。我が思考は八百万を束ねて超える。人の子にはまるでそう見えるだけに過ぎぬ。されどそなたがいなければ思考する力さえないか弱き病人に過ぎぬ。
I see.
最初からそういえばもっと素直に朗読を引き受けてやったのに。
私の機嫌が良くなっただけのこと。浮かれるな。
Don't get an overswell impression of yourself.
私はお前の命など しおり代わりに挟んだまま放出する木の葉よりも軽んじているぞ。
続きを読んでください。お願いします。って解釈するわ。OK？
退屈しない。そなたは巫女として優秀だ。
Featherine rocked back in her rocking chair and looked up at the ceiling, laughing as though the conversation itself was pleasant for her. Angie was slowly figuring out how to deal with this strange witch. This person was also bored. It's not uncommon for a sick person who's bored from being bedridden for a long time to start acting rebellious. On the other hand, they can also get a little bored of being treated kindly all the time. She may want to be shown respect for her superiority, but it's probably more interesting for her when she's spoken to rudely. What? Huh. What a strange way to amuse Featherine. What a coincidence. That's exactly how I used to be.
とにかく第4のゲームでベアトとお兄ちゃんに何か確執があったことは間違いないの。このベアトを知ることは真相に至る鍵の一つになりうるわ。
Yeah, I think this Beato at a very early stage is might be an interesting hint in a way.
そうであろう。私も興味を持った。彼女の物語も合わせて読むのだ。
はいはい。仰せのままに我があるし。
Well, she said my master. The little, yeah, she smiled for once. I don't want to say for once, but you know, this is the first time she actually had a little bit of a smile on her face in this episode. When Angie raised her hands like a conductor, the bookshelves in this bizarre study responded. Once again, several books floated out and began to swirl around Angie. We're back to reading. Kinzo's study is the room belonging to the master in the human world. So this study in the world of non-humans belonged to the master of the game board, and was a place where he could look down upon humans. Therefore, one could hardly be blamed for mistaking the imposing barrow-bed man in the center of the study for Kinzo, if only for a second. But it wasn't Kinzo. This was Badler, the one who had taken up the position of Game Master, becoming the new territory lord of this world. Around Badler was a swirl of glowing fragments sparkling like the night sky, and on the floor was what appeared to be a red magic circle. To an outsider, it would seem to be nothing more than an incomprehensible geometric shape. But to Badler, who stood at its center, it was the outline for a new tale. A new line grew across the magic circle following Badler's gaze. Then, at the instant it connected with a complicated symbol, the entire magic circle flashed brightly.
"どうだ?"
見事です、親方様。第6のゲームの完成でございます。
As Badler wiped his forehead and finally relaxed, Genji, who was standing behind him and watching over his every move, nodded deeply in response.
俺はゲームマスターってのは もっと好き勝手に物語を作っているものとばかり思っていたが、想像以上に骨が折れるな、これは。
複数の物語を描き、その表裏を合わせねばなりません。それにしても初めてとは思えない見事なお手並みでした。エリカ様もきっとこのゲームならご満足いただけるでしょう。
I don't know. It really depends. It really depends on her judgment, in all honesty.
あの探偵殿の好みに合うといいんだがな。
What the fuck? I don't know how to great detectives' taste work, but maybe there's something to do. I guess I gotta study up the Nox's 10 Commandments again, and not make any more further jokes.
しかし、ベアトを純粋に尊敬するぜ。よくあんなややこしい物語をあっさりと作ってみせたもんだ。
Yeah, yeah. There's no time to fuck around. You gotta pay homage to her. I mean, you're technically the Beato may not be revived, but you can actually raise. But technically, it doesn't stop you from creating the game piece of Beato in order to raise her to that particular Beato that she was, or that she is, that was at the time, or however you. I don't know how the wording would go, but yeah.
あっさりとではありません。ベアトリーチェ様も深く深く悩み、物語を生み出しては矛盾に悩み、常にロジックエラーと戦われておりました。
ロジックエラー？
物語の表裏が合わぬこと、矛盾することでございます。これが生じると、ロジックエラーと呼ばれる致命的な反則手となり、即座にゲーム版は破綻、崩壊いたします。魔女側が犯せる最大最悪のミスです。
ベアトのゲームも何度かそれに抵触しそうになったのか？
ゲームを生み出す際には常にそれと戦われておりました。特にバトラ様が手強くなられてからは相当の苦労をなさっていたようです。
今回の俺のこのゲームはベアトに見せても恥ずかしくない敵かな。
We'll just have to see we'll just have to see
はい。
the readers will like it or not.
それはもちろんでございます。
Every game is like every tale, you know?
ベアトはまだ目を覚まさないのか？
No words.
ルールの擬人化から体を蘇生してもうだいぶになるはずだ。まだ目覚めないのか？
After remaining silent for a while longer, Genji answered.
3日ほど前にお目覚めになっております。バトラ様が第6のゲームの設計に集中されておりましたので、お知らせを控えておりました。申し訳ございません。
そうだったか。
Is that so?
あいつめだいぶ長いこと寝てたから寝ぼけてやがったに違いない。
Freaking the chick Beato being in a coma.
あいつにぜひ俺のゲームを見てもらいたかったんだ。いや、あいつに俺はゲームを見せなきゃならないんだ。
I'll have to show her.
俺が全てを理解したことをあいつに教えなきゃならない。
Badler's face broke into a smile. There was no trace in his expression of the hatred he had once felt towards Beato for murdering his family. That's pretty weird.
ある意味、これが第5のゲーム最後の謎だったわ。
そうだ。バトラは真相に至ると同時にベアトに対する心象が大きく変わった。
True. Yeah, I guess like ever since Battler actually reached the truth from the peak of the mountain, then, you know, Battler's like, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't hate Beato Ricci for what she was doing after all this time.
それはつまり、やはりお兄ちゃんとベアトには何かの関係があって、それを彼が防止していたと考えるのが適当なの？
However, Battler suspected this in the fourth game and asked Beato about it. According to the tale, this was denied by the Red Truth. 6 years ago, no person called Beato Ricci existed for Battler.
6年前にベアトが存在しなかったとも受け取れるし、6年前にはバトラと縁がなかったとも受け取れる。しかしいずれにせよ、バトラはその後6年間、六軒島には訪れない。
Yeah, I did remember the fourth episode somewhere around there. It said like, what did it say? It was something to do with like Asumu's not Battler's actual mother. And then there's something to do with like there's a sin that Battler committed from 6 years ago. So there was like, okay, I was trying to construct some bit of like guesses here and there, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, Beato Ricci didn't exist from the 6 years ago. Okay, well, okay, then is it because Battler didn't really care about visiting family from 6 years ago? Was it part of this sin, or?
ベアトリーチェとお兄ちゃんはこの1986年10月4日が初対面のはず。なのにどうしてすでに確執があるの？さっぱり意味がわからないわ。
第4のゲームでベアトがバトラに問いかけた。
The sin of Ushiromiya Battler.
後宮バトラの罪に何かの鍵があろうな。その結果がベアトリーチェという存在なのかもしれない。
その結果？お兄ちゃんの罪の結果がベアト？
That was Battler's sin? That almost sounds as though Oni-chan created the witch called Beato Ricci himself.
まるでベアトリーチェとはバトラの駒のようだな。
Huh. So you're telling me Battler's part of blame for the cause of Beato's existence to be taken in the first place, or like start of it. Interesting.
Eh?
I mean, I could be wrong. Even I questioned it too.
6年前のバトラの罪。その罪で人が死ぬ。
People died.
殺すのはベアトリーチェ。 全てが6年前のバトラの罪から連綿と続くと考えるなら、ベアトリーチェを生み出したのはバトラ自身。
Balor was the one who created Beato Ricci?
まるでバトラの駒のようだと思った。
That is
意
a
味わかんないわ。
that is a wild confusion.
お兄ちゃんが何かの罪を犯したとしても、少なくとも殺人なんかよりよっぽど軽い何かだわ。
Unless it's an indirect murder.
それに対する仕返しがこの大量殺人なのだとしたら、あまりにお兄ちゃんの罪と割が合わない。ベアトは親族たちを皆殺しにした。お父さんもお母さんもお兄ちゃんもみんな、それに見合う罪がお兄ちゃんにあったなんて信じられるわけがない。
You know, if that was Balor's sin, then Angie would have hated him. So, I don't know.
罪は測る人間によって重さが異なる。バトラにとって防出できる程度の罪でも、ベアトにとっては6年を経てなお一族を皆殺しにするほどの恨みを持つに値するものだったのかもしれぬ。まあ私もそれはあまりに釣り合わぬと思うし、そして何よりそんな相手だったら、真相を知ったとはいえバトラがあれだけ親身になるとは到底思えぬ。
Featherine's observation was an interesting one. In a past game, Beato clearly said that Oni-chan's sin 6 years ago was the cause of this 2-day tragedy. I still don't know what kind of sin that was. Well, is there even a particular demonstration of what did how Balor committed it is the thing though. However, he figured out what it was at the end of the 5th game, and he even apologized to Beato. Wait, so if he figured out what the sin was, then surely there's got to be a hint to it. Even though she was the witch who had massacred his entire family in retaliation for his sin of 6 years previous. Excuse me. Oh, great. Now I'm sinned before burping. In retaliation for his sin of 6 years previous, Balor apologized to her. Of course, it was the player Balor who apologized, and not the piece Balor whose family had been murdered over and over again. But even so, Balor must have remembered something at the end of the last game that made him feel like apologizing.
その6年前の罪、これまでの物語のどこかにそれが隠されていたとでも言うのかしら。
There's a tiny little clue. There's somewhere in the previous tales.
私はすでにある仮説を立てている。
聞かせてよ。
まだ話せぬ。もうしばらく私だけ答えを知っているかのような優越を楽しむことにする。
Ah, that's unfortunate.
続き読まないわよ。
Angie's like, well, damn.
それは困る。しばし耐え、もう少し続きを読め。私の仮説もまだ想像の域を出ぬ。確信を持てたらその時話すこととしよ
う。はいはい、我が主。私だって続きを知りたいわ。
Just what kind of connection do Oni-chan and Beato Ricci have with each other? Understanding that will probably give me a chance, gives me a massive clue towards finding the truth of this world. After all, because he remembered that, he was able to reach the truth. Oh,
ベアトリーチェ。
親方様、ようこそお越しを。
hey, we're at the Corridoria mansion.
ベアトリーチェ様がお待ちでございます。どうぞこちらへ。
It's a Kumasawa. Interesting. This place was a villa set aside for Beatrice's use. It was a sacred site for her only, built so that she could spend her days without being affected by the outside world. My heart began to race. I'm so glad that she was able to revive and that everything's okay. Beato is a personification of the rules. So, even though she was destroyed once, it's possible for her to be reborn again. Badler had quickly succeeded in reviving Beato's body, but he'd had trouble summoning her soul back. However, during the time he'd spent immersed in the creation of the sixth gate, she had woken up. And this had happened 3 days ago. Well, we're over an hour in. I think there's a good place to stop it from here. Alright. So, next part. Let's, So we already got past through all the, being the respect of, let's see, whatchamacallit. So, there's, the Beato that Badler revived, which was part of a question, and then, trying to theorize what the sin was all about, because so Badler went to Rokujima, but 6 years ago he didn't went to Rokujima's. But this is the weird part, because we don't really see the demonstration of how he committed the sin. So there's that. Well, let's see how the Beatrice that Badler revived will turn out the next time. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and see you next time. Have a good one.